This is probably like not very relatable, but I had gone out on Wednesday night because a friend of mine had gotten broken up with, and I thought it was important to be there for her. I had worked from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m., 10:30 that day, and I, obviously with lunch break and stuff like that, it's not like chained to the desk or something. But that was roughly the time that I was on my own and just doing stuff, doing like I got a bad news of someone was charging me like a super high bill. That was unexpected, and then I have to like write the email against it, which is confrontation that I wasn't used to doing. I appreciate the challenge because it helps build something in me that is very interesting and good to have. And then I had bad news of a friend and bad news of a relative, all also within the context of a relative also being sick, and this very long period. And since I had gotten back to London, I really like it. Just I kind of just took every day as the same, even weekends or whatever. Not really doing stuff that I want to do, but just doing the stuff that is good for me to do during the day. Then trying to go to bed early at night, but I wasn't. I was like doom scrolling. And I realized today that I just couldn't go to sleep last night. It was kind of hot, so I should have like just put the AC on. Got a little AC unit, a little tiny machine. Anyway, but I woke up super early because it was trash collection, and I just wanted to put the trash out. And I just like started that day, and I was feeling like I couldn't really move forward. I was just so tired. And I think what's really interesting is that before I took the ADHD medication for about a year and 8 months. And what was wild was that in that period, whenever I would take the medication, I wouldn't be tired. So if I stayed up until 1 a.m. and then woke up at 5 a.m. and then I could still have a super productive day. And not that I did that every day, but I definitely didn't rest, and sometimes I would just take it every single day, not even rest in the weekends, because I thought I was just a better version of myself. Without it, I was just accomplishing a lot of stuff. I'll give the thing though that when I'm not on the medication, then yes, I'm aware more of like my being like myself, and perhaps more of natural rhythms. Like if nature has summer, winter, spring, fall, I have as a human as and female also rhythms, like biological rhythms, and that it's okay to have moments where of more like introspection or like rest, and or other times like celebration and really productivity to the max or whatever. And I did something that I just wouldn't have done before ever. I just couldn't conceive of the idea of really, I don't think of like taking a nap. I remember that I had a housemate that who would frequently take nice naps, and I was like, that's great, but it just like really, I just didn't understand, because I was like, no, during the day you'll achieve things, whether you're like productivity is like the highest thing in the world. And it's like, no, actually, like we're alive, we're human, like there's productivity is amazing, don't get me wrong, goals are amazing, but what about the experience of being human? What's the point of achieving all these things or whatever? And I get it that I'm in this privileged position where it's like, if you're like having to work all the time to be able to afford the basic things, do you have time to look at the sky and the birds? Or and not that would have done that all the time, but it's like little things, just because I felt like, well, my dad really enjoyed his work, but I felt like that was his one thing where he derived joy. But no, I think he enjoyed dancing as well and music. Even if you're super hyper productive, you're still finding moments of enjoying life, and I don't think I did that very well because I was very mean to myself. That's something I'm trying to change, right? I'm always constant, and I realized today my negative thoughts were to the max, and I realized that usually my mental well-being goes down if I've been watching social media for a few days in a row. I don't know if that's due to being tired, because I realized, wow, I'm really tired, and like my mental, I just hear this really negative thoughts in my head. I was like, this is not normal. I was like, I don't know if this is due to social media and being tired, or specifically just being super tired. And so I took a nap. I haven't even really checked what time, but I think I've taken a nap of an hour, probably. I don't even know. And of course, it's a super privileged position to be able to take a nap. But geez, or maybe it's human. I don't know. Babies take naps. But I feel a lot better. And I think that's beautiful in this journey of self-love and self-care, to know that it's okay, I'm not less by resting. And I also got out of the birth control that I felt like birth control and the ADHD medication made me have every day kind of be very similar. Because I didn't feel like the rhythms of a menstrual cycle, and the ADHD medication made me have a lot of energy during the day to accomplish things. But when I'm off of those two, I realized that, well, I had a super huge day on, I can't remember, probably Tuesday night, where from 9 a.m. till I got home at 12:30, but I couldn't go to bed till like 1:30, and like super productive, super active, dancing, and huge day. And I realized also in therapy yesterday that I just started crying, because the news that I got about two people actually really got me and stuff, because it was people that wanted to cancel their subscription on Life, and at one point or another in their lives. And that's something that, it's how do you deal with that, and perhaps that's more common than people talk about, or not. I hope not. But and I understand that sometimes life gets really challenging. But I think as humans, part of rest, I believe, for me at least, is I'm allowing myself to let go or rest from having experienced all those things, and being able to be there for someone else. And taking a nap today, it was just absolutely necessary, because when I was so tired, I realized that I wasn't really being productive. And so it was kind of like, if I would have just rested, I then would have been able to be more productive. It's kind of, it makes sense. I'm learning all these things. I'm learning. It's new. I mentioned that ADHD medication made me super productive every day, and I'm not against the medication, and I would be interesting to see if there is a medication that would help me. But I will say that now that I have more constraints because of time that I need to do things, or the energy to do things, just all those limitations that before I could literally just take my medication, just do the things that I intend to do. Whereas now it's kind of like, okay, I have a lot of things that I intend to do. Well, let's see how many I can do and stuff. And it's all probably like a journey to do it. Medication is helpful and super important, but obviously the medication didn't, my body really crashed out, and I got really sick. So that medication was like really not good for me. Or maybe maybe I was meant to rest and I just wasn't. Or no, my body was like shaking. It was really bad. But the the point is, when having more constraints, I think it also allowed me to think, wow, because before, when I was on medication, I was like, I can do this startup, and I can write this book, and I can do my master's, and I can do, like, I had like 6 large life projects that most likely you could do one big one and one small one at the same time, and like fixing up the house, and it was just, there's so many things that I wanted to do that would normally take a lot of time. But because I had this super high of the medication, I was like, I can do it all at the same time. And obviously, no, you can't. But I didn't know that, and I genuinely believe that you could. Now, off the medication and stuff, I can just like, oh wow, I have these limitations, and it makes it very important for me to be able to prioritize and really say, like, it would be amazing to write that book. And maybe I will at some point in my life, maybe 20 years down the line. And maybe I will do a little startup at some point, maybe 10 years down the line. But right now, I'm only focusing on one big thing. I can maybe do little side projects here and there, but I'm not going to hang like this concept of productivity or my identity and well-being based on if I accomplish it or not, or to what degree. and just have one thing. And then the beautiful thing of that is that I actually had to be more real with myself and figure out, wait, was I doing before? Did I really like that? Or was I just doing it because I thought that I had to do it, or because I liked it at some point, but then it shifted and stuff. And so now I get to work on stuff that I really enjoy the process of doing, as opposed to like the idea of the journey, because that's what I did before. That's a big one. You can have a really huge goal, but if you're miserable in the attaining of the goal, I think that is a sign to question whether that really would be a journey worth taking, because not only are you not enjoying the journey, but you're also not going to be happy. The destination is not this amazing thing. In the past, I was studying really hard for this degree, or to enter to this university to do this degree, and I didn't really enjoy the studying part of it. And I understand that some people would say like, oh well, who enjoys studying? But maybe you would get some some highs of like, wow, I'm really interested about this topic or whatever. But I wasn't. And then when I got there, I was like, well, what would have been like the crazy, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just the wrong university for me, but who knows. But the same thing happened with the career that I was pursuing before, which there were tons of moments I really enjoyed it, but I just took out all the joy of it. And there was still a lot of things that I wasn't enjoying. Like when I got to the moment of doing it, not just studying it, but like doing the actual career, I was like, I didn't enjoy certain concepts of it, like how I needed to look a certain way, or really like you can't get tattoos or stuff like that, small things. And but also I didn't enjoy like the day to day, every day, the things that you get to do with it. And I understand that the things that they do is it's not enjoyable, but then now that I'm doing the thing that I'm doing now, which is like writing the little songs and stuff, I genuinely enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy strumming the guitar, and I think what's beautiful is that it helps me take myself out of the thinking. Because if I'm being negative to myself, I'm just strumming, I'm just focusing on the sound, and it's like a little like meditation or something. And then you just enjoy the little highs of learning something new, and oh my gosh, I'm strumming a lot better. Or maybe does this actually mean that there's a little bit of rhythm, and wow, I know this chord that I didn't know yesterday. And that's the thing. Maybe some of the constraints really help us highlight what's truly important, what's worth our time and energy. Because maybe the beauty of being human in pursuit of something is not only what we choose to do, but what we say no to. And I think that was a really big lesson for me. Someone that had a lot of interest in a lot of things. And I'm not saying this is the way for everybody, because what you could do is say yes to a lot of those things. Like I'm having, it's like I'm doing music stuff, but I'm still doing finance stuff. And it's not like I'm completely rejecting finance, I'm not doing stuff. But then I also had my old career stuff that I was doing, that I thought maybe I should be doing that. And it's like, wait, no. I think what I have in terms of what I can do in terms of energy during one day, I can do those two things. Wishing you the best.